Well, here we go. Another day, another review. Another review from yours truly, brasstax, baby. You already know, and if you don't, then you're new here. And if you're new here, you gotta subscribe. But firstly, welcome. These are different kind of 4K reviews on this channel. I do things a little differently. Existing subscribers, how you guys doing? And day ones, you already know. Now, I've thoroughly enjoyed this Godzilla trilogy. Actually, are there 4 movies? Are we including Skull Island in this? Is it part of the Monsterverse? Alright, let's pretend it is. I loved Skull Island. I wasn't a big fan of Godzilla, 2014 one. King of Monsters was great. I had a great time, and this one was good as well. I think I kind of prefer King of the Monsters more, but this one did its job. This movie, Godzilla vs Kong, let's just get this out the way. This movie is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, and there are some literal scratch your head moments, but thankfully, I left my brain at the door. And guess what? I had a great time, I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, there's always a lot of criticism about these movies that it focuses too much on the humans, but it has to. Yeah, imagine the whole movie just about Godzilla and King Kong. That would be boring as hell. And I guess there's gotta be some high stakes, but to be honest, I don't give a damn about any of the humans in any of these movies apart from this little girl in this one. I think they did a pretty good job with her. The whole sign language thing with her and Kong is cute, I guess. I mean, let's get this out of the way. The CG is spectacular in these movies. All of the movies are fantastic CG, perhaps the best CG on movie to date. I mean, you got a full-size gorilla, a full-size lizard, beating each other up. And it looks believable. It's not easy to pull off. And I don't know whether Shane from Spare Change wants me to tell you this, but him and I, we talk pretty much every day. And we had a big debate about this movie after we both watched it. And he didn't like it. Do you know why he didn't like it? Your boy Spare Change didn't like it because it was too far-fetched. It was too ridiculous. Like I said to him, you got a giant gorilla and you got a lizard fighting, and you're complaining about believability. I will say, though, in his defense, the whole Hollow Earth thing, I think it was the last straw for him. I mean, I understand that, but, this isn't a movie that has logic. You've got to leave your logic, you've got to leave your brain at the door, and you're going to have a great time. I gotta say, though, I'm not trying to be a hater, right? But that girl from Stranger Things brings nothing to these movies. Nothing. Neither does her dad. Spoiler alert, just skip forward a minute. Listen, that mechagodzilla, the way he beat the absolute piss juice out of Godzilla, god damn, that was crazy to me. Even Kong got his ass whooped. You remember at first when they first face each other, so you got the mech going up against Godzilla, right? They're both running towards each other. I'm like, oh, it's gonna get crazy. And then the rockets come out, I'm like, what? And it takes both of them to beat him. You can tell from my excitement, I had a good time. I had a great time. And if they bring another one out, I'm gonna go watch it. Now, this is the great debate right now. Are people used to watching things at home as opposed to going to the cinema? Because my friends and I have watched various movies that have been on HBO Max, and we've all got fairly large TVs, varying from, 65 to 85. I'm sitting here with a 77-inch OLED. We've got the Atmos set up and everything. And a couple of my friends do as well. And when I was watching this, at no point did I regret it, thinking to myself, I should have gone to the cinema to watch it. I didn't feel that at all. I've never felt that with any movies I've seen at home. And judging by what I can tell with a lot of people, they feel the same way. Over here in the UK, we've got Cineworld, which is Regal Cinemas over there in the States. And what it is, we pay $15 a month, and we can go as many times as we want. There's no limit. And going there doesn't cost anything but gas. Yeah, and it's not very far away. It takes me like 6 minutes, 7 minutes to get there. So it's really no effort. Now, I'm looking on the screenings, showtimes, some movies I want to see, but I know I can also watch them at home. And 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to watch it at home. So how are cinemas going to be now? Because last time I checked, there's not a lot of people going. And I wonder whether that's because they're used to watching stuff at home. I don't know. What about you guys? How do you guys feel about this? Are you happier watching movies at home? Or is going to the cinema still a thing for you? Let me know. But anyway, 4K Blu-ray Godzilla finally upon us. Let's get into some tech specs. So it's a native 4K DI. People rejoice. It seems like most 4K Blu-rays are natively 4K now, which is a good thing. You got Dolby Vision, you got HDR, and you got HDR10 Plus for my Samsung folks. You got the black bass, Dolby Atmos, coming in at 113 minutes, a little under 2 hours. 100 gig disc. I think all 4K Blu-ray should be 100 gigs, and it's out June 15th. I'm gonna leave some Amazon links so you can pre-order it. If you go through me, costs you guys nothing, but Amazon kick back a little something for your boy. It's another way of supporting the channel, along with subscribing, Patreon, or becoming a member. It's all good. Now, I skimmed through the 1080p Blu-ray and I thought it looked pretty good. I also think the 4K digital looks stellar. So how does the 4K Blu-ray, the physical media, stack up? I told myself that if it was as good as King of Monsters, I'd be happy. This looks absolutely fantastic on 4K Blu-ray, hands down. I really do feel that it's the best looking 4K Blu-ray out of the Monsterverse. 100%. There is a very mild layer of grain throughout this movie, but it's nothing which is overpowering. In some cases, you can't even notice it at all. Sharp and detailed throughout. Razor sharp in cases. You know what your boy's gonna say. Close-ups, wrinkles, freckles. You're seeing individual hair strands. Yet clothing, more creases, more wear and tear in the clothing. The monsters, the special effects look stunning, and you do worry. With a higher bitrate, with 4K, CG usually suffers, but in this case, the monsters look outstanding. The detail on the mechagodzilla, you're not going to see on the 1080p. The mechanics of how the mech move are just so much more detail, and obviously the added bitrate is giving you a whole other layer of depth, more three-dimensional pop. Round 1, Godzilla vs Kong, takes place in the ocean, right? Ships galore. Godzilla creating carnage. On the digital version, I noticed that on the wider shots, it was a little softer. The sea looked a little softer. Sea is always one of those things that kind of can look a little weird in 4K, but on the disc it looks so much more sharper, so much more detailed. Now, in most cases, digital versus physical look very, very similar. I'd say if you've got a 65-inch or below, the differences would be minimal, extremely minimal. You practically look identical. Where it does suffer in most cases is the audio. And the various YouTubers who have spoken about this claiming that digital and physical look almost identical. And I would agree, unless you got a 70-inch plus TV. When you got a 75-inch TV, things look absolutely immersive and the detail looks stunning. However, imperfections stick out like a sore thumb. When it comes to this movie, when everything is fast and fluid, when you got fast movement, there's a lot of action happening on the screen, you can't tell a difference. However, when things are slow panning and some of the wider shots, you can see that the digital is softer. So in terms of sharpness, detail, and depth, Godzilla vs Kong on 4K Blu-ray wins, hands down. Another thing I found when comparing digital to physical is the brightness. For some reason, digital is slightly darker than physical, and I don't understand why. It is just the way it is, and it's exactly the same here. HDR Dolby Vision is absolutely stunning, and this panties will drop. Panties will never come on again, I ain't gonna lie to you. There are so many HDR standout moments, it's crazy. Round 1, Godzilla vs Kong, battleships, oceans, explosions can be blinding at times. Round 3, at night, neon lighting, it feels like Pacific Rim all over again. The Hollow Earth looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, I had to pause the movie at points to just think, damn, you want to talk about pansy dropping, my boxes dropped. 1080p can't do this. 4K digital did it well, but this one is brighter. It's a brighter image. There's a bit more pop to it. If any of you guys got an LG OLED or a LG TV of any kind. The difference, the best way I can explain it to you, it's like going from cinema to cinema home. That coupled with great inky dark blacks and great shadow detail to boot. I can talk about the Dolby Vision, the HDR all day, but I'm not going to. Now, if you and your girl haven't navigated to the bedroom, then she still needs more. And if she needs more, you look at her in the eye and you tell your girl to sit on the woofer and see what happens. You know what's gonna happen? The Bluray may still be recovering from King of the Monsters. Fellas, you're gonna need the National Guard to save her from that woofer. This is reference quality Atmos, people. Earth-shaking, panty-dropping, baby-making bass. Explosions are thunderous. You know when the bass is so crazy you can almost feel it rattling your heart? That's what I'm talking about here. Wide sound stage, the destruction of buildings you can hear from everywhere, behind you, around you, above you. I don't know what you call them, they're on these miniature spaceships going to Hollow Earth, and as they're moving, they are flying through this dimension. You feel as though you're going into that third, fourth dimension with them, because you can hear the engines and just the movement of the ships around you and above you. Great three-dimensional sound here, no doubt. When Godzilla is getting his ass whooped by mechagodzilla, he's getting his head smashed through the buildings, you hear the destruction in front of you, the breaking glass behind you. Vocals detailed and crisp at the front channels, exactly where they need to be, and all the action is going on around you and above you, exactly where it needs to be. Not only is this louder than the Atmos on the digital, it's more detailed and you can hear it. Reference sound, and there we have it, people. There's my review on Godzilla vs Kong. I'm gonna give the picture quality a 9, and I'm gonna give the audio a 9.5. Is it the best way of watching it? Are you kidding me? Of course it is. Pre-order that bad boy, pick it up. Like I said, I'm gonna leave you some Amazon links for you guys. If you wanna go through it that way, be my guest. Subscribe if you haven't already, people. 4K Rockstar, you already know.